It done messed up because gear acquisition syndrome is real. You're probably thinking, oh great, another audio guru. Why should I listen to them? My name is John Maciel, and 5 years ago I set out to make audio my full-time gig. I worked with people like Bo Rochelle, A.L. Levy, Finn McKenty, John Brown, and bands like Era, Moose Blood, Census Fail, Hail the Sun, and a lot more. Now I work with URM Academy and Riffhard, where I help the next generation of audio mixers, producers, and guitarists. Today's episode, it's gonna be the 5 things I would do differently if I had to start in audio again today. All right, number 5, if I were to start everything all over again today, I would try out every subscription. I would buy as many courses as possible. I would buy as many books as possible. I would just go down that rabbit hole of I would just take everything in, find every YouTube channel, all that stuff. And the reason for it is when you're first starting out into the whole review world of like, oh, this person's great, that person's great, going into forums and asking people's opinions. The thing is, asking about opinions is really, really difficult. Everyone's journey is different, and the way everyone learns is different. And you have to find the person that's at the perfect place of here's your journey and here's the instructor, and you guys are bridging this point of your journey together, and they're your guide. They're going to take you through whatever you need to go through. And usually the best advice I can give anyone is find the one voice for where you're at and follow their advice all the way through until you get to the point where you're like kind of plateau, and you know you want more and you don't know what it is that you're looking for. And what's going to happen is that you reach a point where you've evolved and now you need another coach, you need another mentor. This happens with athletes. It's important to always have the right mentor or guide, because you're going to evolve and change, and sometimes you're going to want different things or need a different outlook on life or on your mixing or your audio. And it's important to have multiple people coming at you at the right time in your journey. So try every subscription, read every book, find the voice that's resonating with you at that point in time of where you're at, and only focus on that and block out all the other noise. Focus on you, focus on the information coming from one place until you get to the point where you're ready for the next step, and then go do the same thing and find the next voice and the next voice and the next voice until you're happy finding what you need. Number 4, this wasn't around when I started and I wish it was, and that is find a local community or online community that has the same interests as you. Some will be public and others will not be public. They will be paid for. As I mentioned earlier, maybe the mentor, whoever you're listening to now, has their own Facebook group, their own Discord, whatever it might be. Go join in those conversations. Contribute. Do not be a lurker. If there's one way to slow down your audio growth is to not engage in conversations about the thing you're here to talk about. Talk about sounds that you like from records. Hey, what does this sound here? How would I do that in my own mix? Anytime that type of musical question pops up, ask it. There's more advanced people who are going to be more than happy to contribute to that conversation and teach you what you need to know. Don't just learn. Engage. The more you put in, the more you can get out. Finding a local community or an online community that has the same interests as you is so crucial in growing not only your skill set, but your network as well. And growing your network is what's going to keep you fed throughout your journey, and it's going to open many, many doors. So find a community. Maybe there's like a mixer group locally you can go to shows, meet the sound engineers at shows, whatever it is. Find your community so that you stay pumped and you find people who are on the same journey as you and keep you motivated, because if you're staying in your little shell, before you know it, you're gonna be unmotivated. You're not gonna do anything because you don't have anyone around you either at the level you want to be at or driven to do the same thing you want to do. So you have to keep these type of people around you. You have to feed off that energy. Number 3, and this is something I did and I did with many friends. Instead of waiting for that next band to come in or not trying to find that client, instead of worrying about any of that, if you cannot find it or you're in a small town and you don't know what the next step is, make a playlist of every song that you like and love and literally cover that song. You may or may not need vocals. Maybe you don't have drums. Program those drums, but try to, recreate that as best you can. Get involved in those communities. Again, how would you guys do this type of sound from this record or this type of sound from that record? The reason this stuff is going to help you out is because later on, when you have a client that's like, oh, it would be cool to do this type of thing from that type of song, you're developing the skill set so that you can do that type of stuff in your own production. So don't be stuck on, I need to record clients, I can only get practice that way. You will learn way more from recreating songs that you love, critically listening to all the layers that are going on, than you will from bringing on multiple bands. It's the same thing as when you play an instrument. You learn to cover a lot of songs that you enjoy so that you learn the techniques and you start learning song structure, chord structure, all that type of stuff. So cover, get friends, cover songs, cover. Number 2, I cannot emphasize this enough. I did this myself. I am guilty of it. Do not buy every plugin. Don't do it. If you're watching this video and you've spent way more money on plugins than you have on audio education or anything else, it done messed up, because gear acquisition syndrome is real and you've got to be careful with it. So do not be tempted to go out and buy every plugin that people boast about and people are excited about. I know you've probably heard this phrase millions of times, but you can do most of the stuff you want to do with the plugins in your DAW. A shout out to Eric Valentine's channel. There's so many times when he recreates a piece of hardware with the plugins in Pro Tools in the box. He's able to do that because he understands what the components of those units are doing, so he can recreate it. And that is actually what an engineer stereo mixer is someone who understands principles of how something works and recreate it or make that objective happen no matter the circumstance. Try to see how close you can get with your DAW plugins, because once you get that tool, yes, it might make things simple, but if you start buying this delay, that delay, before you know it, you've spent way too much money, you're not using all of them, and also maybe your style develops to where that plugin doesn't make sense for you, but because you believed in the hype, you've lost your own voice and then you realize, man, I spent like $100 on something I don't even use. Don't make my mistake. Don't make the mistake many other people make. Try to avoid as much as possible or buying a lot of plugins at the beginning of your journey. Focus on what you have, understand what you're using your tools for, and be really, really good at them. And number one, and this one is so important and the hardest of all of these to do, accept failure. It's that simple. Accept failure. Be okay with not succeeding right away. Be okay that things are not going to sound the way you intend them to sound. Be okay with deposits not coming in. Be okay with clients not showing up on time. Be okay with all the failures that are going to happen, because working in a creative field, you're going to have more failures than you're going to have successes. Once you get to a certain point, those successes are so big, they outweigh all the failures that held you from getting to that point. Accept failure. Embrace it. Know that you're going to learn a lot from it, and you're going to be better for it than your competition is, because you've accepted the one thing that most creatives cannot. You're going to fail finding your voice, but you're going to find it, and that's a very real thing. So thank you guys again for watching this video. Catch you guys in the next one. Later.